Do you worry that you'll never get your first wedding client? Well, we've got 3 foolproof strategies to help you get your first client. So if you want to know the simple truths about running a successful wedding business, you've got to hit that subscribe button so that you get notified each time we release a new video. So today we're talking about how you can get that first wedding client. It's like the Holy Grail, isn't it? It's that elusive first client that we all want to find. And there's some tried and tested ways in which you can do that. And Zoe, one of the things that you certainly talk to a lot of our students about at the Academy is finding your niche and really honing in on what it is you offer and who it is that you are.
And I think I remember that again when I started my business, that you think, well, if I just put up the website, advertise that I do weddings, anybody that's looking for a wedding planner will come to me, and then we'll work it out if we were a match. It'll be fine, and I'll be flooded with people. But actually, as we say, to the students, it doesn't work like that. If you sell yourself to everybody, nobody's going to know what you are. And if you think about it with shopping, when I go in Topshop, I know what I'm going to get. I go to H&M for a different thing. I go to Hobbs for a different thing. You shop in the different shops. And it's the same with the wedding planner. Some shops I'm not attracted to and I don't go in them. They're not my style. They're not what I want. So we need to be clear who our ideal client is and really sort of drill down very close. And I worked out, it took me a little while. I'm not saying, the first year I was doing that blanket approach. And then I realised that actually it was marquee weddings. That was the thing I knew most about. That was my skill. I needed to get those pictures that were relevant and, on my website, showing marquee weddings, showing the colours that I think, they would
talking
like.
about marquee weddings and blogging about it.
And then that started to filter through, and then I was getting the right people come to me, getting more connections and was able to sort of build it. But I didn't believe it. When I read some, in the early days, I was reading stuff and I was thinking, you've got to be really specific. And I was thinking, that can't work. Surely that's cutting out too many people.
It is, and it's funny because you hear these terms like you need to have your ICA worked out, meaning ideal client avatar, and you think, whatever, I don't need to know. I know who my client is, it's brides. Yeah. Well, the thing is like you say, once you niche right down and you understand who it is you're targeting, the next thing you need to do is actually speak to them in their own language. Because if you start hanging out where they're hanging out, if you start going to the Facebook groups that they're in and you start listening to how they term things, what they say, what they're talking about, that stuff is gold because that's the stuff that you use within your marketing to repeat back to them. And I know certainly at the Academy, for example, when we have people join our Facebook group, we ask them 3 questions. And one of them is, what is their fear about starting a wedding business? And the way they reply to us in there, in those answers, I keep those replies because then I use a lot of that copy in my own email marketing because then I sound like I am them. I sound like I'm the person in their head, that voice that really understands them. And that's the key to really good marketing. I mean, you've taken it that step further, haven't you? You've niched right down. You've got a very specific look and feel to what you do, Martha, but you also now have managed to take that across onto social media, one platform in particular.
Yeah, so at the beginning I was kind of, am I doing the right thing? And actually it was when we were on a shoot here that one of the other mentors said to me, just do it. Niching is what you need to do. Be confident with your niche. And I did that. And now, so on my website, Capture Form, I have Where Did You Find Me? Yeah. And I would say 70 to 80% of my clients find me on Instagram. And I am very specific with my images on Instagram. Even if I assist on a wedding or do a design that doesn't really fit in with that, I won't necessarily, I'll put it on stories, but I won't put it on the feed because I might have enjoyed doing that. I might have loved that style for that brief, but it might not be who I want to talk to in the long run. It might not be who my ideal client is. And I've found that really effective. So I have brides and grooms coming to me saying, we love you for this specific thing. Yes. We saw this shoot, or we saw this wedding, or we just love what you're doing on Instagram, and it is so us.
And then
we want that in our own way. I can't count how many people have said, we want that, but just personalised. So we want that, but with, a little bit of jungle vibe, or we want that, but, with a little bit of luxe. And I feel really lucky, but obviously I did put the work in myself, that I've actually had people come to me and I think, God, you are so who I want to do a wedding for.
And
it doesn't happen all the time.
No, but a lot of the time it does.
If you are niche and targeted on social media, then the right kind of clients come to you quicker.
Yeah. And that's the key.
And like Zoe said, you don't want to just be I do weddings, because people, you know, so many people find their wedding suppliers through Instagram or Pinterest, and they do it pinning images they love that suit their style.
Exactly.
So if you don't have the images out there that suit their style,
or if you send a mixed message, if you did start putting in those images of those shoots and those weddings that you've done and enjoyed but don't really represent your brand aesthetic, then you're sending a mixed message. And one of the biggest things I've always said is, if you talk to everyone, you're talking to no one. So don't do it. So your 3 things here are literally, you need even to niche right down and really understand who your ideal client is. You need to use the language they know and understand themselves when you're talking to them, and find that one platform that works for you. Work it, and stick to that brand aesthetic. So there you go, 3 top tips on helping you to get that first client. So it's time to take some action and book that first wedding. So download our wedding business roadmap for the easy steps to business success. And don't forget, we have a wonderful Facebook community full of people just like you, lots of mentors in there to help you. So make sure you click on the link in the description below to join that Facebook group.